So, I finally got to watching one of the most talked about anime series of all time, Hunter x Hunter. But after thinking over it for a few weeks, I decided to make a video on the top 10 Hunter x Hunter characters. I'm sure many other YouTubers have tackled this topic before, but I just wanted to give my own take on the characters from one of the most beloved anime I have ever seen. Obviously though, with the show as highly praised and celebrated as Hunter x Hunter, there's bound to be an enormity of great characters to choose from when making a top 10 list on the best characters, so I'm sorry if I leave out your favorite character for one reason or another. There's just too many to please everyone. Also, I just wanted to note that this is based on the 2011 anime only, as I haven't read the manga, although I know it has extended beyond the 2011 series ending. I'm sure I'll get a lot of dislikes from people disagreeing with this, but that's certainly expected. Now, with that exhausting intro out of the way, let's get started.
The yes is just the crest, expressing myself the best. The recipe for death is testing me. I'm the next to be, pressing heavy heat up on your chest until you rest in peace. Let the lesson be, don't mess with me unless you want your dome piece blown into the Chesapeake.
Number 10. Ikalgo. Now, you probably already hate this list for this choice alone, but hear me out. Ikalgo was one of the characters I didn't really expect to see for very long, and I certainly didn't expect him to leave the emotional impact on me that he did. I may not be the biggest fan of the Chimera Ant arc as a whole, but to me, Ikalgo was one of the most memorable parts of the story. More than many of the other characters, you can easily sympathize with Ikalgo's situation and role with the Chimera Ants. Seeing him go from an antagonistic figure to one of the most pivotal pieces in humanity's fight against the Chimera Ants was one of the most interesting journeys in the series, and watching the bond between him and Killua grow was inspiring. He not only grew as an individual, but he helped others grow as well, finally finding the friends he had longed for. Number 9. The Royal Guards. I know I'm cheating by putting all 3 Royal Guards in the same spot, but since I couldn't choose between them, I just included them all. The Royal Guards presented unique challenges for each segment of the Chimera Ant assault team. Neferpitou, Yuppie, and Poof were all daunting figures individually, and although each one had similar goals, they all still managed to feel separate and powerful. They all had distinctive personalities, allowing for some of the best scenes in the show when the heroes tried different methods of attacking each one. We understood why they followed Meruem and the reasoning for doing what they did. They managed to avoid common shonen stereotypes, making for some of the most unpredictable and exciting scenes in the entire show. Number 8. Netero. Everyone likes badass old people, and Netero is certainly no exception. As one of the most powerful characters introduced in the show, Netero also has one of the best fights the show has to offer, but that's not the only reason I placed him on the list. You see, what makes Netero one of the best characters on the show is his mysterious personality and the slight unhinged vibe that his presence gives off. He's clearly a complex person, one with some questionable ideologies governing his actions. Although there are plenty of reasons Netero finds himself on this list, his decision to disregard Meruem's appeal to negotiate is the main one. At that moment I began thinking, in an admittedly jokingly yet still somewhat serious way, that Meruem was not wrong, Netero was. He simply had to eradicate these ants which he felt so superior to, eventually sacrificing himself to do so. Netero's hidden feelings of superiority make him one of the most intriguing characters on the show and worthy of a spot on this list. Number 7. Gon.
Killua のとこに案内してくれるだけでいい。
そしてどうする？
Killua を連れ戻す。
If you know anything about me and Hunter x Hunter, then you probably know that I'm not really a big fan of Gon. I find him to be incredibly annoying, especially at the beginning of the series, but as the show continued to move forward, I started to understand and appreciate him more as a character. Although I still don't think he's even close to the best character on the show, I think he showcases a lot of growth and realism that many other characters simply don't. As the main character of the show, Gon's progress still seems organic and realistic for the most part. When he learns something new or overcomes an obstacle, it usually doesn't feel cheap or forced, but rather it feels exciting and earned. His character's childish curiosity leads the show's main story, keeping the audience engaged and committed to what's happening. Gon's decisions and personality are at times some of the most intriguing aspects of the show, enough to earn him the number 7 spot on this list. Number 6. Leorio.
これなら仮に外れて女だったとしても思う存分調べることができるって美味しい選択てか外れろ
I completely understand why some of you may be questioning why I'd put Leorio so high on the list, or at least higher than Gon, the main character. But honestly, it really just comes down to personal preference. To me, Leorio was hands down the funniest character on the show. More than anyone else, his charisma and charm stole nearly every scene he was in, so I just had to put him on the list. Sure, he didn't have nearly as much development or screen time as many of the other characters here, but his memorability and comedy stands out more than any other character to me. His theme song also being one of the best on the show certainly doesn't hurt his placement on this list either. Number 5. Chrollo. I'll admit that I don't really know that much about Chrollo, so just bear with me as I explain why I put him so highly on this list. In a similar vein to Netero, Chrollo is introduced very mysteriously as the head of the Phantom Troupe, enticing the audience to learn more about him. His calm, composed nature in conjunction with his connection to the Phantom Troupe gives him a sense of power and control that no other character in the show can match. Chrollo's commanding position and his mysteriousness keep the audience enthralled, eagerly anticipating his next appearance. Number 4. Killua.
人殺しなんてうんざりだ。ゴンと友達になって普通に遊びたい。
Killua stands out to me because of his evasion of potentially damaging characterization. What I mean is that Killua could have been a Gary Sue, someone who always seems to accomplish anything he puts his mind to with little challenge, but he doesn't. Instead, he avoids these potential pitfalls and emerges as a truly complex character capable of growth. He learns to deal with his demons and dark emotions, going from someone bound by his fear and anxiety to someone willing to risk his life for those around him. Killua feels realistic, at first deterred by seemingly insurmountable obstacles, but grows into a courageous character. Someone who no longer hides behind a facade of power, but instead, someone who shows who he really is. This growth, along with his desire and aspirations to avoid much of his family's problems and his inspiring relationship with Alika, makes him more than deserving of the number 4 spot on this list. Number 3. Hisoka.
その瞳今すぐ君を壊したい
What the hell is that?
Hisoka is both the coolest and the most unsettling, or should I say disgusting, character in the show. His similarities to the Joker make him one of, if not the, most unpredictable characters on the show. He's chaotic and selfish, violent and powerful, sly and intelligent, and this amalgamation of various personality traits makes him arguably the most compelling character to watch. It's hard to look away from what Hisoka is doing, no matter what scene he's in, and no matter how vile his actions. Similar to Leorio, Hisoka also steals the show whenever he's on screen. His villainous charisma makes him a powerhouse in the series, not only in terms of physical and mental tenacity and strength, but also in how compelling he is to watch. Not to mention his theme song fits so well with who he is that I just had to put him this high on the list. Number 2. Kurapika.
私はクルタ族の生き残りだ。4年前、私の同胞を皆殺しにした盗賊グループ。幻影旅団を捕まえるため、一番恐れるのは、この怒りがやがて風化してしまわないかということだ。
As the original Sasuke, Kurapika has some great motivations. In fact, I'd say he has the best motivations on the show, but if you've seen the video that I'm going to release soon, if I haven't already, then you know that the motivations alone are not enough to make a great character. They still have to fit well within the context of the world, and Kurapika certainly accomplishes that. Kurapika's actions and his unyielding desire for revenge feels realistic and not overbearing. Although we don't actually see what's happened to his clan, we can understand how sorrowful he is about it, and we can empathize with his decision to avenge his family. Seeing him grow and outsmart other characters in his quest makes Kurapika one of the most compelling characters the show has to offer as we impatiently await his opportunity for revenge. The fact that Kurapika's motivations are handled better than anyone else on the show makes him worthy of the position as the second best character in Hunter x Hunter. Honorable mentions. Before I unveiled my pick for the best character in Hunter x Hunter, I wanted to talk about some honorable mentions. Like I said earlier, Hunter x Hunter has a lot of great characters, so there were bound to be plenty of memorable characters not to make the list. Characters such as Illumi, Kite, Knuckle, Shoot, Nove, Moral, and Jin are perfect examples. While some of these characters arguably deserve a spot on this list, I just couldn't quite bring myself to placing them over anyone already on it. But that doesn't mean that I won't change my mind given enough persuasion, either through the comment section or through the later chapters in the story. Now, it's time to reveal my final pick. I'm sure most of you already know what I'm about to say. Number 1. Meruem. I know. Everyone just seems to love Meruem, so naturally I wanted to hate him, but I just couldn't. He undoubtedly has the best arc on the entire show, going from a ruthless, selfish, and violent lifeform almost completely devoid of any humanity to someone almost worth admiring. He learns mercy and humility after spending time playing Gunji with Komugi. As the most powerful character on the show, Meruem clearly is a horrifying foe for anyone to encounter, but his ability to grow and learn to care for others only maximizes his arc. I can't recall many times in all of fiction that even come close to Meruem's arc in believability or depth. Meruem goes from one of the most selfish, abhorrent, and unlikable people to someone we can not only root for, but someone many of us hope finds happiness. His complexity and growth are so far above anyone else's in the show that I just had to put him as the best character in all of Hunter x Hunter. Alright, that's my list on the top 10 Hunter x Hunter characters. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please leave a comment and tell me what you want me to cover next. I'm sure I've got something that you'd be interested in. I'm getting better every day, and I've got more good stuff coming on the way. Stay tuned.
How could the powerless have the least amount of cowardice but reach the mountaintop and seek to stop it in all the callousness? All that matters is the power that's hidden within, but a villain's main mission is quickly killing your friends. He's shriveling your skin with the villainous lead, but see the